Thank you, Steve. Will Greenwood is on his own on the turf of Twickenham. A 50th cap for the Harlequin centre. The key to the England midfield.
Yeah, he's got a job today to do because Brian O'Driscoll, the form of his life, and a very, very important linchpin for the Irish attack, so they need to stop him there.
Lawrence Dallaglio leads the rest of the England players out. Dallaglio's first game as captain at Twickenham since 1999, and it's probably just as well we don't have fireworks here, because given the rainstorm we had just before the players came out, they wouldn't go off.
Well, as if just to welcome the Irish here, actually it's going to make the surface greasy. I think it's firm enough, but handling, they'll need to be careful early on.
England playing together at Twickenham as a full force for the first time since they won the World Cup. The world champions are back at their home, and Ireland know they will be up against it. Clive Woodward in the stand. He likes his chicken and tomato sandwiches as opposed to the rest of Twickenham, who apparently, according to Brian O'Driscoll, like prawn.
Really? I don't know what you're talking about there, but never mind.
Well, Brian O'Driscoll hopes that Twickenham is going to choke on their prawn sandwiches today.
Well, it's on the field that counts, and I don't think any of those boys have been eating prawns by the look at them. There's a lot of big men out there, and obviously England have to do a job in the line-out today, because that's an Irish strength.
Victor Costello in green there on the bench. He's not on the bench, that's Brian O'Driscoll, captain of the team. And if Will Greenwood is the maestro for England in midfield, well, O'Driscoll is for Ireland. Ireland have been called. They haven't won here at Twickenham since 1994. England at home in the Six Nations. It's their first game at home. 2 on the road, 2 games unbeaten. And here is the English side. What a moment for Will Greenwood in the centre. A 50th cap for him. The maestro, tall, rangy, loves to get the ball out of the tackle. And up front it's a return in the second row for Steve Borthwick. He missed out earlier in the season because he gave his captain Lawrence Dallaglio a clout, but he's back after suspension. As for Ireland, well, they have perhaps the find of the Six Nations in the centre. Gordon Darcy has become the little dancer who can create problems for any defence, and there's a 50th cap in their ranks too. Up front in the back row, Anthony Foley A 50th cap, a milestone for the Munstermen. Just before kick-off, Brian, Paul Honnis of New Zealand is the referee. He's fussy at the scrimmage.
Yes, well, we'll see where he goes. I would imagine that Ireland are going to try and fire into England. They must have confidence in the pack, but I'm hugely looking forward to this game. I think that rendition of the national anthem for England was one of the loudest I've heard here, and everything is full on.
Lawrence Delalio against Brian O'Driscoll. England against Ireland. Ronan O'Gara prepares to kick off. Round 3 of the RBS Six Nations is underway. England at home for the first time. Paul Grayson. An early touch there for Josh Lucy. Gervin Dempsey. That's high into the Twickenham grey sky.
Come out, Green.
Matt Dawson restored at scrum half to his Northampton teammate Paul Grayson. O'Driscoll is back in his own 22. And so we go to the first line out of the game.
Yeah, and a hugely important area, as I said before. The modern game is such that if you get dominated or gain dominance in the line-out, then you're a long way to losing or winning a game. But interesting from Grayson there, kicked when he knew the fullback was out of the way. Oh, and England and problem straight away.
An early steal, well taken by Paul O'Connell in the second row. O'Driscoll stops and kicks. Ian Bolshaw lopes across. You can only watch as it goes into touch.
Well, I'm a bit surprised at Ian Bolshaw there. As you say, he did look to be loping, and whilst he wouldn't want to have to play the ball into touch, he needs to get there early to make the decision. And Ireland have already signalled their intent by pinching the first ball of England, who I think quite wisely decided to cut the line out.
Paul O'Connell goes to scrum half. England with just 2 in at the moment. They go long to Delalio. It works well for them. Delalio tackled by Keith Gleeson.
Accidental offside, 13 White.
Accidental offside, Phil Vickery running into his own man.
Well, you couldn't get a better attacking opportunity for Ireland, can you? Less than 2 minutes gone, they've got a scrum under England post. The whole of the right and left hand side is all open for attack. Very dangerous for England.
Yeah, I'm sure Paul Honnis just...
he's off already.
Already.
Engage.
Goes down, it's on this near side, it's Reggie Corrigan against Phil Vickery.
White and green, come up to the mark. Crouch and hold. Engage. Let's go, half.
Free kick, Ireland.
Wait, 8. Wait up.
Slightly undignified for a man getting his 50th cap.
Side of the scrum, number 8 from behind it, please.
Eddie O'Sullivan, the Irish coach there. It's free kick, Ireland. They've gone for the scrummage again.
Yeah, why is that? The reason they've done that is to pull all the England forwards into one place so they can't spread out and defend, to give themselves more room.
Break up, Green, break up front rows. Here's our mark, hookers, over the mark. Come more forward, White. Crouch and hold, engage.
Peter Stringer feeds the scrum this time. It's settled. O'Driscoll, little kick for O'Driscoll. Was he taken off the ball? He was. Shoulder charge. Paul Grayson on Brian O'Driscoll.
Well, I don't think he would have got there anyway, actually. But if that is the case, he really should be in the bin, because that's
you watch them, you drop your shoulder into him, okay?
I said he dropped his shoulder into him. There can't be anything but intent there, can there? And he really should be in the bin for that, but he's got away with it. Here we go. Nice. He wouldn't have got there. It's well covered. Ben Coyne is back there. There's no way he would have got there. But if the referee spotted that, which he obviously did, he can only think that it was a professional foul, and that usually results in a yellow card. But what a great start for England, and that was all started really by the first line-out loss.
Thank you, mate.
Ronan O'Gara, 380 points to his name. Simple kick. He's missed it. Off the post. Early chance for Ireland, goes begging.
And that is a shocking miss, really. There's obviously no such thing as an easy kick, but It wasn't that difficult, and that's not good for Ireland.
Tyrone Howe, the
Time
Ulsterman,
two. Leave it.
sets up the ruck. Gordon Darcy plays scrum half, and that's one for Bolshaw. It'll land outside the 22. O'Driscoll, did he challenge for the ball? Well, referee says play on, and England knocked it on. Do you think O'Driscoll went for the ball?
I think he did, but I think he had half a mind in Bolshaw. And if you actually look on the replay here, look, no, he didn't go for the ball at all. His arms aren't even up, and that's right from the referee. Look, he's 2 yards away, and he didn't see that. We're having more problems. I don't understand this with the referee. Look, we've had 4 scrums. The first hit was perfectly fine.
Another Ireland put in midfield. Anthony Foley picks up, drops the ball under pressure from Richard Hill. Scrappy ball. O'Gara, another little kick through. Bolshaw comes across, and again in that same spot, watches the ball cross the touchline. This time he wasn't loping.
No, he wasn't, but intelligent play there by O'Gara. He didn't have many options, and therefore he's decided, well, we'll have another crack at the England line out right near their line. I thought that was a knock-on, to be honest.
Number 1.
Dropped it forward.
Here's our mark. I want you half a metre off. At the back, Green. Thank you.
Steve Thompson has to be accurate at this full line out. He's not. John Hayes.
Last feet wide.
Second line out steal for Ireland. O'Gara, long, Darcy.
That's out. Play on.
Play on.
No,
That ball was out. England could have pounced on it. Oh, Corrigan. Sorry,
Hands off, White.
Corrigan. Just thinking that pass looked a little forward to him. O'Gara, the little dink through. It's John Hayes. I think if Ronan O'Gara had known that was his tight head prop out there.
You're right. I bet we looked at me and thought, oh dear. Not a bad idea when you've got a winger there, but not with John Hayes. But again, serious problems for England. I can only think that the line-out call was wrong there because no one even jumped. And they need to sort this out because that's the second one out of 3.
Malcolm O'Kelly challenges this time, but England win it safely enough this time.
Right there, Green.
That'll settle a few nerves.
Yep, he runs on.
Josh Lucey's kick doesn't make much ground at all, and he looks at the linesman in, well, a fair degree of disgust, really.
Well, he wouldn't have got it much further because he did slice it.
Come across.
Shane Byrne there, the Mickey Skinner look-alike competition winner.
He hates short hair. It's as simple as that. Shane Byrne with a throw. Well taken by Paul O'Connell. Now Ireland destroyed Wales. At these driving lineouts, it's working for them again, but
accidental offside. Number 2.
The old tractor and trailer using the player in front.
Oh, there's a bit of a shove and push there. Come on, Kelly squaring up. Well, Shane Byrne looks with incredulity at Paul Honest, and I agree with him because that's what everyone does. They get the ball at the back and they drive. If he's going to cancel those, he must cancel them all.
Staying on here.
Scrum goes down on this near side.
Down, tight head. Don't take an easy option.
And Paul Honest is definitely right there. He's saying don't take the easy option. Phil Vickery folded his man in with his shoulder there to stop the drive.
He's an unusual prop, Reggie Corrigan.
Green 1.
He's very unusual. He's given away the penalty there.
Outside shoulder.
Oh dear. Why the loose head would want to drop it there, I don't know.
Well, maybe he heard Paul Honest give Phil Vickery the first warning and thought, well, I'll have a go.
Okay, early days. What have you found, Austin?
Yeah, so far we've seen that the Irish are trying to put pressure on Ian Bolshaw. They've kicked every piece of possession to him so far.
Wait. England, wait. Put the ball down, please.
And actually,
Ireland, I'm not standing here all day.
Actually, that's something that Austin spotted there that I spoke to Keith Wood before the game, and he said they were going to do that. They thought that Bolshaw was weak under the high ball, so purposeful plan, obviously.
Ball time. Last feet.
Steve Borthwick wins line-out ball for England. And England try the rolling maul and Ireland bundle them backwards. Well, this is not in the England script. To such an extent that Paul Grayson has to drop back into the pocket and kick. It's a good kick though. Gervin Dempsey taps it to himself to keep it in play.
Come out, Green.
We start a little bout of kicking back and forth until No, not until Ian Bolshaw joins in too. O'Gara. Paul Grayson kicked and then covered back. Peter Stringer. Now then, Brian O'Driscoll. He went for the running option and hit the white wall.
And they've turned it over as well.
They have so. Phil Vickery, Richard Hill, long pass out to Will Greenwood. Greenwood darts inside. Paul O'Connell. That's gone forward from England. And it's a turnover, Malcolm O'Kelly. So, slippery ball.
Advantage over.
O'Gara. And Ireland are back in the England half.
Well, unusual and unforced error there from Richard Hill after good work by Will Greenwood and good work in the turnover. But I think of all the options there, running into Trevor Woodman, I don't think was the right one. And England do well there. Oh, actually, I apologise to Richard Hill, it didn't even get to him. It was knocked down in an Irish tackle. Good work by the tacklers.
Retire!
Well, England have got away with it. Richard Hill came round and sorted out the scraps after Ben Kay tapped it down. Grayson, Will Greenwood cuts back inside, held by Gleeson and Foley. Dawson tries to dart. Shane Byrne wraps him up and he's been turned over.
Wake up, fellas. Scrum down. White ball. Straight to ground. Using the hands,
Brian O'Driscoll.
Don't go on the top of the tackle.
Fair dues to ref. He said that, well, if they used the hand, then presumably that was a penalty to England.
Yes, I don't think they did, to be honest. But
Crouch and holds.
well, the decision's made, and Brian O'Driscoll didn't like it, but there we are.
Staying on, flankers. Okay.
Delalio with the pickup.
Play on.
Stringer nearly intercepted the inside pass. Vickery picks up and draws. No, it wasn't Vickery.
By Green, no advantage. White scrum.
It's a bit messy.
Off Green 9. Scrum course.
It was Ben Kay who drove on for England.
Here we are.
It is slightly disjointed, Eddie, but I think that one of the reasons for that is that both sets of forwards are really firing into the tackle, and there's some big hits going on. Don't necessarily appreciate when you watch from this distance just how heavy those people are and how hard they're firing into each other, but I assure you they are.
Delalio goes across field and then straightens it well. Gleeson eventually gets back. Dawson, Hill. Hill puts the little kick through.
Well, maybe the right idea for Richard Hill. I think it would have been better if it stayed in because it had given Lucy a chase there. But Lawrence Delalio allowed to make 10 yards off the back of a scrum, and he should not be allowed to do that.
Get your numbers right. Put him down, Lawrence, please. Come down. Wide again.
Richard Hill goes out into the three-quarter line. Malcolm O'Kelly takes the ball at the front of the line out for Ireland.
That's okay, come from the back three! Get out of that! Advantage Green.
It's a penalty to Ireland if there's no advantage.
3 white in the side.
Phil Vickery going in from the side. Oh, he does shout Paul Honest, doesn't he?
In front of the hindmost foot. Yep,
yes, he certainly makes it clear. Phil Vickery knows. And I think on balance, Ireland take the plaudits for the opening 13 minutes, just on balance. Neither side really managed to get much second phase ball. It's been disjointed, but I imagine it will settle down. I think in the last 20 minutes we're going to see where all the spaces are. Vickery there has been caught for coming in the side. We'll explain these two pillars, I think, later on by way of illustration, but you've got to come in from behind the back foot and not from the edge.
Fellas. Don't collapse them all after the line out. Let's go.
Steve Borthwick watches and waits. Paul O'Connell beaten to it. Steve Borthwick it is that catches the scraps. Dawson digs it out. Greenwood. Jason Robinson was on his shoulder. Greenwood took it up himself.
Hands off, Green. Up we come, taking it more. Not delivered by White. Green
Ireland kept the ball off the deck, and they'll have the put in.
England complaining there and shouting at the referee that he had his hands on it. The referee explained that he was still on his feet and the ball hadn't hit the floor, therefore it's not a ruck, and Paul Honest is right.
Engage. Stay back, White 9.
Options on both sides for Ireland. Gervin Dempsey goes right. The ball comes left to Ronan O'Gara, and we're back towards this corner.
Well, quite clearly Ireland have decided that they don't want to give Gratian any shots at goal. They're quite content to concede the line-out throws for territory, and then to look and put pressure on the England line-out, which has looked vulnerable thus far.
Steve Borthwick goes right to the back. Ben Kay comes to the front, knocks it on. Or did Ireland get a hand on it? It was still bad ball for England. Steve Thompson took it over the touchline. Ireland throw.
Well, I think this is the third line out there. And Ben Kay, he just gets an arm in front. Steve Thompson recovering, but he's too close to the line out. I don't think the line out throw there is quite high enough.
It's quiet at Twickenham. Malcolm O'Kelly takes ball. Now then, Ireland will have to be careful if they go for the driving maul. Shane Byrne has really buried himself this time.
Advantage.
England collapsing the maul. Advantage being played.
This player here, collapsing the maul.
Trevor Woodman.
Yep, justified decision again. Ireland on the verge of getting another drive on.
Yeah, exactly.
And the England forwards at the moment are coming second best, and that's only for one reason, and that's because they can't secure their line-out ball. So crucial nowadays. The line-out play is such an important part of the game that if you don't win these cleanly, you have run a lot of difficulty. And you can see Shane Byrne at the back there, and see Trevor Woodman number one. He just collapses himself to make sure the Irish drive comes down. He's lucky he didn't get shoot out of the back of there, frankly.
Trevor Woodman of Gloucester. Ronan O'Gara of Munster. Bad miss with his first attempt.
He really needs to get this as well, because gives his forwards heart when they do all that hard work. If they're rewarded, they'll go further.
Well, that's the kick to get yourself back into form. Fantastic strike by Ronan O'Gara. Ireland take the lead at Twickenham.
Well, we always knew that Ireland would go for a big start, but actually it's been contributed to hugely by England's own inability to secure first phase possession. And they need to put that right, and they need to put it right fairly quickly.
Paul Grayson restarts. Paul O'Connell catches it majestically. Well, the groan goes up because Ronan O'Gara didn't make much ground, but he was going for touch.
Lifting in the modern day, that's good hands, isn't it?
Check your numbers.
O'Gara didn't mind finding touch because they're putting pressure in this area.
How's the throw?
Borthwick went up, finds Joe Worsley. Throw though wasn't straight, so the problems continue for England at the most important set piece.
Well, even Clive Woodward there, he can't be happy. Well, even allowing for the fact that nowadays you seem to be able to throw in a foot down your side. That was even further down the England side, and that's 4 line-outs now that England haven't managed to get ball from.
And it's a solid Irish scrum as well. O'Gara under pressure
He's played it.
from Dawson. England keep it in play. That's a poor kick by Bolshaw.
Well, I don't know what he's trying to do with that, really. If he was going to go long, he didn't need that even to go anywhere near the touchline. If he was going to put it high in the air, it didn't go there either. So,
who's your leader of your pack? Who's the leader of your pack? Let's put the ball down, please. Lawrence and Headley.
That's one of those questions, isn't it? Who's the leader of your
cannot
pack?
Enter the line unless they go for the ball. Okay, I want you to get your numbers correct, both sides. Let's get on with some line-outs. Let's go, green ball.
Anthony Foley and Lawrence Delalio given a briefing by the referee about how many players are in the line-out. As there you can see Joe Worsley playing scrum half at the moment for England. Simon Easterby wins for Ireland. O'Gara, O'Driscoll drops it. Trouble now for Ireland. O'Gara has to go down.
Lost forward, green.
Went forward.
Scrum down, scrum down. Let's go.
well, that is a very unusual error from Brian O'Driscoll.
You staying down.
Oh, his eyes are up on. He's looking ahead there. He's not looking at the ball. But actually that was contributed also by the fact that Stringer's pass to O'Gara was a stopping pass. It wasn't a fluid pass he could run onto, and that didn't help either.
Good English scrum. Ireland tried to turn them, and oh dear, the scrum was good, but that catch by Ben Cohen was bad. O'Driscoll, Darcy, he has got very quick feet, and he's taken on Joe Worsley. Worsley, with help from Robinson, gets back. England are stretched though, and on comes the drive from the forwards. No knock on. Tyrone Howe goes down. Stringer, O'Gara, Reggie Corrigan loses it in midfield. A lot of mistakes, but as you said, Brian, it's because it's very physical out there.
Yeah, I think also what you can't see, well, this is good. He's come on an enormous amount, hasn't he, Gordon Nelson? Dragged down by Robinson. But the problem really here, well, let's say the eyes there. You look again, he's looking for the tackler. He's looking for the tackler, and this ball isn't sticking because it's slippery, and people have got to concentrate on catching it first.
Delalio targets little Ronan O'Gara. And again, England's number 8 and captain has room to run at the smallest player on the Irish side now. Matt Dawson doing what he does well, takes it quickly.
Hands off.
Jason Robinson plays scrum half. Will Greenwood. Richard Hill was on his shoulder. Greenwood again took it on himself.
Last feet.
It's Jason Robinson still at scrum half. Paul Grayson. Josh Lucy. Steve Thompson slips.
No, wait.
Lucy to Robinson. England get through. Jason Robinson. Oh, the tap tackle by Peter Stringer could be all important. All important because they get the penalty, but Jason Robinson out of position at outside half cut Ireland apart.
Yeah, Twickenham don't like that. Jason Robinson, to talk about the skills of Brian O'Driscoll. There's nothing on here, look, really. Oh, I'll tell you what it is. He's got a prop to work against, and that's how it is. And how important was that from Stringer? This desperate last tackle, and unfortunately, here we go. He's stretching, but it's just enough.
Very important because Jason Robinson one-on-one against the fullback. It could have been embarrassing for Gervin Dempsey, and he's good in defence.
Doesn't matter how good you are, if you've got Jason Robinson running against you at full tilt and you are static, you're going to have problems.
Wait, stand aside, out as receiver, please, okay? 6.
Joe Worsley is number 6 playing scrum half, and Paul Honest, the referee, wants him out of the line out. O'Kelly wins. Great pressure from Richard Hill. He went outside the 15-metre line too soon, and again Twickenham don't like it, and O'Gara could be in kicking range. Richard Hill doesn't like it at all.
Well, the rule here is that any person that's within the 15-metre line is not allowed to go outside that until the ball has left the line out. Richard Hill is actually stood 2 or 3 yards outside when that ball is delivered. And the crowd is slow hand clapping, but I suggest to them they're wrong.
It's just choosing the moment to bolt and put pressure on the outside half.
Yeah, I know this is complicated, but a line out isn't deemed to be over until it's released. So if you tap it straight away from a line out, then the back man can fly. But if you catch it and then release it and he decides to fly, which he did then, he finds himself 2 yards outside it, hence the penalty.
That's a majestic strike again for Ronan O'Gara, missed with a sitter and has curled 2 superb kicks in, and Ireland extend their lead at the home of the world champions. England 0, Ireland 6. Paul Grayson has to restart again. Paul O'Connell catches under pressure from Steve Borthwick. O'Gara has to go onto his left foot, dances well. Steve Thompson drags him down. Tyrone Howe with the pickup. Stringer, Gervin Dempsey, O'Driscoll. Right, a sticky start for England. Jerry Guscott.
Teams lined up. They were equally as big as one another, whereas last year at Lansdowne Road it was like England with the men and Ireland with the boys. And Ireland are playing to a really good game plan, and they're sticking to it. And they're really getting in under the England players' skin, as you can see by Delalio continually having a go at Honest, the referee.
Well, that time Ireland did not challenge on the line out. Matt Dawson wriggles and then sends out a horrible pass. Good football by Ian Bolshaw, but it's all gone wrong again for England. That was very ugly, really.
Yeah, it was. It's Matt Dawson just hung on there, really. Well, if you see that, Ireland have had a predominance of possession in the opponent's half, and the time, that's the important thing. It's not just a question. They've 3 minutes to 1, and that's why England, now the impression I'd got without looking at those stats were that Ireland have dominated this game, and they have in terms of time in the opponent's half.
A little skip out of the first tackle by Matt Dawson, and then that.
Well, what was that? I don't know, really.
It's a clout in the mush for poor old Jason Robinson, really.
And I think if you look at that very, very closely, I don't think that's a knock-on. I think he gave him an Irish knee, but Paul Honest couldn't have seen that because it was away from him. It was on the wrong side for him.
Sir Clive, unimpressed. Good English scrum. Stringer has to release it quickly. Real danger now. Good pick up, Paul Grayson. Matt Dawson is going to score for England. It was so ugly, and now it's turned beautiful for England. 6-0 down, and they're back in this game.
Well, I think a lot of the joy there is relief as well, because there was a palpable sense behind me of anxiety at this start, but that has lifted it, and the crowd is rocking again now. Totally opportunist. Good work by the England back row, though. Stringer's under pressure. I think Lawrence Delalio is offside there. I thought he broke early, but it doesn't matter, the referee hasn't spotted it. Gratian does well there, good timing of the pass, and Dawson on his return, he will be very happy about that. I suspect not any more happier than the people in the crowd.
Paul Grayson adds the conversion and moves to within 3 points of Rob Andrews' total. If Grayson passes that, he's the second highest try scorer. Here's the finish by Matt Dawson, the simple run-in. Good spoiling work by the England back row, and then the completion by the halfbacks, Grayson to Dawson.
Well, if I were Ireland, I'd be sick now, frankly. We've played so well. One mistake, and you find yourself behind.
England are in the lead. Beautiful catch by Steve Borthwick. Lifted high, caught it way above his head. Composure at last from England. On comes the drive. England have the advantage. Lawrence Delalio, big handoff on Anthony Foley. A boot flies off the field over the touchline. It's Steve Borthwick's boot that was flung out of play. Back it comes. I'd be interested to see who chucked it off. Penalty to England in the meantime. England scored their first try, and they have instantly seized the moment of control.
Come on, guys, come on across, please. Right across, come on, fellas.
There's the spoil of the Irish scrum and the awareness of the halfbacks. Paul Grayson off his toes at full tilt. Matt Dawson on his Northampton clubmate's shoulder. Better line-out ball for England now. Steve Borthwick at the tail. Trevor Woodman popped it up to Matt Dawson. Joe Worsley plays scrum half. Worsley with the pick up and tries to go through the middle, and he bumped into his own player again.
6 under 3. It's offside. Down, green ball.
Scrummage, Ireland ball. Suddenly it's Ireland who have lost composure. That scrum was ruined by England. This is their first scrummage since that try incident.
Come forward to the mark, White. Crouch and hold. Crouch and hold. Ireland, stand up, please. Let's sit up over the mark. Crouch and hold. Engage.
Peter Stringer.
Stay off them half.
That's a better scrum for Ireland. They went
off
forward
them.
a foot. Oh, it's a terrible pass to O'Gara. O'Gara tackled by Grayson. A second scrum goes completely wrong for Ireland. Excellent set-piece work by England. He's made a real mess
Oh, there's all sorts going on here.
of the half-back control, and it's gone off a little bit.
12, guys. Break up. Break up. Break up. Get off. Get the fucking hands up. Scrum was awarded. I want to see no guys coming in taking things on. Pull players off. Scrum down, white ball.
So England's best opportunity. Well, they scored a try, which is a pretty good opportunity, but this is their best set-piece opportunity. Their own ball, acres of space on both sides.
I'll tell you something, the number 8 there has broken into blindside channel. If England knew that, they should 8-man shove this.
Ian Balshaw straight behind the scrum. They get the penalty. Reggie Corrigan penalised again. There he is. Luced, Corrigan, and Paul Grayson just points the ball at the posts. They're going for the 3 points.
I want you to bind up nice and tight. Don't drop it and then drop your outside shoulder. Shot, fellas, sorry.
Paul Grayson, this will put him level on 397 points with Rob Andrew. Only Johnny Wilkinson ahead. He might take some catching.
I think he may well do, but England now really, they've made the most of any opportunities they've had. Find themselves with a 4-point lead from basically from 2 sets of Irish possession.
O'Gara. Dawson takes it and feeds Paul Grayson. Josh Lucy slices it a bit. Gervin Dempsey with a chance of the counter.
Come off him, White.
O'Gara. Malcolm O'Kelly takes on Trevor Woodman
Ball time, Green.
and Ben
Hands off,
Kay.
White.
Ball's popped out England side, but it's a white hand that scooped it back.
Stupid penalty.
Well, the
That's two, you've given away
referee
number
said
one,
it
no
all.
more, okay?
It's Trevor Woodman again who's given away the penalty, and Paul Honest said it all, really. Stupid penalty.
Yeah, and Trevor Woodman's second time. I'm, surprised Paul Hollis hasn't said, look, another one, and maybe you will be spending some time sat on the bench.
Ronan O'Gara.
Shot, fellas.
Eddie O'Sullivan, the Irish coach.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm talking to them. Yeah, it's fine. Yep. What have we got? Oh, sorry.
It's straight in front. Simple enough, Ireland stay well within touching distance of England.
Number 1, 2 silly penalties, no more.
1 point, England lead. Malcolm O'Kelly with the catch. Joe Worsley with a crunching hit.
Last feed 8.
Worsley's back on his feet. It'll be interesting to see if Malcolm O'Kelly gets
It's
up.
all right. Hang on. Watch your exits, okay?
O'Kelly is last up.
Just look here, Lawrence Dallaglio is there. He's the man to see. If you just move this on now, just move it on slowly. He's supposed to have his shoulders down there actually, but and he can only break when the ball comes out. I think he got that just about right. I thought initially that he'd gone off early, but he was quite clever there by just leaning over the top, giving the appearance that he's bound, and he got away. Good work with Stringer. Well done, Lawrence Delalio.
Lawrence Delalio, head up, but bound to the scrum until it squirted out. There was a lack of control at the back of that Irish scrum. And the big England captain, who was tapped up by Ireland once,
he
way
was.
back. Yeah, he was. I think it's on his mother's side. There's an Irish connection.
Irish, Italian, English.
Yep.
Lots of options, and England are very pleased, obviously, chose them.
Steve Thompson, that didn't look straight.
That's 5 line-outs now.
But they're not making it easy for Steve Thompson. They're calling a lot of these long balls towards Steve Borthwick.
You're absolutely right there. You know, as a thrower, if a couple haven't gone right, you don't want someone. I used to insist on calling the line-out calls, because if I'd had a bad one, I didn't want to throw it over the top again.
Ireland much more settled at that scrummage. Now then, Shane Horgan read that well. He knew that was coming, so there will be a green presence around Ben Cohen. There he is, big Shane Horgan. Unfortunately for Ireland, it was overcooked a bit, because you don't really want those kicks to go into touch, do you?
No, you don't. I think it wasn't one that Horgan was going to actually run on to for a scoring thing. It was more a case of Ireland sticking to this game plan of putting the ball in the England territory, trying to spoil the line-outs. Another bad line-out there. Oh dear.
Malcolm O'Kelly coming through, but I've never seen, well, in recent times, we haven't seen the England line-out disrupted like this.
And let's give credit to the Irish here. Let's give credit, because they are putting an awful lot of pressure on there. Steve Thompson can't gather it. The Irish are quick onto the ball, and their policy of just keeping the ball down there is paying dividends.
And again they go towards the tail. Ben Cade takes it this time, so the risky ploy worked in their own 22.
Keep it up, Green.
And England take the drive on. Ireland try and crab it over towards the touchline.
It's truck and trailer, guys.
It's truck and trailer again.
Players in front.
The players at the back of the mall. This is a very southern hemisphere thing. There was all the criticism of England's driving maul at the World Cup came from the southern countries. John Eales was saying England detach and then drive.
And you know something, it's absolute rubbish as well, because they do exactly the same.
Stay off 9, White, back.
Paul Honnis of New Zealand. Here come the Irish backs through O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll, it took the tackle of Paul Grayson to stop the first real thrust by Ireland's wonder boy.
And Grayson did well there, because England obviously operating a drift defence. Grayson moving out, and he had to have enough pace, because if you operate a drift defence, you've got to get across and take your man. Here he goes.
Engage.
And Grayson has moved out one, and he also knocks the ball down, so credit to him.
Down far side, guys.
Trouble on this Woodman-Corrigan side.
Come on, guys, binding up, please, and hold it up. Crouch and hold.
Referee Honnis looks to his touch judge, Nigel Owens of Wales. Ireland turn the scrummage this time. They've got to use it quickly, England. They do. Delalio to Worsley. Grayson.
Holding White forwards. Okay, yep.
Gervin Dempsey. Tyrone Howe on his shoulder. Grayson scrags him round the neck.
Roll out, tackler. Last feet.
The fullback presents the ball well for the 3/4. O'Driscoll stops.
Release
ducks under Worsley. The pickup
Hands off, 3.
by Malcolm Kelly. O'Driscoll, left-footed, drills it towards Ian Bolshaw.
Now, guys, holding White.
Gervin Dempsey, Ronan O'Gara and Brian O'Driscoll are back there. It's not the most fluent of games.
No, it isn't.
Yet.
Neither side has really got a lot of quick possession in the loose, and that's been Clive Woodward shaking his head, and he'll not be happy about. Well, he'll not be happy about the first phase failing, which is a direct reason why the second phase is failing.
The tap down was okay. Lawrence Delalio scooped it up.
Backwards, come out two.
Shane Byrne has to get out of there.
Last feet, Greens. Hold here.
Short ball to Ben Cohen, tackled by Keith Gleeson of Leinster.
Danger there, guys. Going forward.
Danger, says the referee, but it's not that dangerous.
Dangerous in the sense that rugby is dangerous as a contact sport, possibly, but normal balls coming out is relatively quick. I don't understand that.
Come forward. That's the mark here. Crouch and hold.
I don't think it's dangerous in New Zealand, is it? The way they fire into each other.
Yeah.
Staying on, flankers.
England rock solid at the scrum. Ian Bolshaw. Gleeson
Release.
drags down the fullback.
Holding on.
Ian Bolshaw not releasing. He was on his own for that split second before help arrived.
And that is all it takes now. All it takes. If the way that people are taught now to defend is that you don't go down people. You stay on your feet and try and rip the ball from them.
Sweet, no problems.
Ronan O'Gara back to this favourite little corner of Ireland's. This is where they spent the opening moments, and here we are right at the end of the first half. If they're going to line out on a drive, perhaps they'll look for a penalty. It's Trevor Woodman again. This is Shane Byrne, but the referee had another word with Trevor Woodman. Well taken by Paul O'Connell. The drive does come on. England can't collapse it. That's why Ireland are allowed to make this ground. Now it's a ruck. Stringer has to dig it out. It's slow ball. England stretch their defence. They have got that penalty though. Ben Kay. Interesting to hear this.
He's not by the law. He's off his feet. He's playing the ball on the ground. If I hear any more from England, I'm going to send somebody to the bin. Okay? Thank you very much. Explain it to him.
Well, I didn't think it'd be long before Paul only said that, and he's got tired about that. Urgent words between Dawson and Kay. Ball comes back here. He's saying they've played it on the floor, and there you can see the hand there.
Yeah, that ball's on the floor. That ball's on the floor. You can't play it with any sort of hand.
No, you're right. You're right. As long as the ball touches the floor. I thought initially it wasn't, but the replay shows it was, and Ireland may well go in now with a lead, which on balance of play they probably deserve.
Ronan O'Gara, 3 out of 4. Out of 5. Ireland will take a lead into half-time. 12 points to 10. Ireland lead at Twickenham. England have been disjointed at times. They scored a very good try, but Ireland have kicked 4 penalties. It's England 10, Ireland 12.
World champions, even though Ronan O'Gara led England off the hook early on. After 23 minutes, he was putting Ireland 6 points ahead with his second great kick, and England was struggling to get into the opposition half. But then, to England's great relief, the half-back combination of Grayson and Dawson produced an opportunist try. Twickenham could breathe again. And Grayson's later penalty made him the second highest point scorer in England history. But Ireland ahead through O'Gara's kick right on half-time. Much to discuss in the England dressing room, I'm sure, and also here in the studio with Martin Johnson, Keith Wood and Jonathan Davis as well. Let's hear first, though, the pitch-side view from Craig Doyle and Jerry Gaskett.
It's been pretty quiet here on the touchline, Jerry. This English team are rattled.
Yeah, they are. I think O'Connell and O'Kelly have really got stuck into the English line-out, and that's made Thompson twitchy. He's overthrowing, underthrowing, and they really have been unnerved. But I mean, the measure of a good side is that given the opportunities, they take them. And if it wasn't for that last O'Gara penalty, obviously England would have gone in at half-time ahead. So a lot to sort out in that change room. But I think Woodward and the guys have been in situations like this before. They're sorted out in that change room. Chris Jones might be an option. but then they lose out in the physicality. So we'll have to see who comes out.
Okay, Jerry, thanks.
Martin Johnson, as former England captain, there is a fair bit to sort out in that England dressing room, isn't there?
Yeah, I think the main thing is England have had no territory. Ireland have played the entire game really in England's half. I mean, the only time England looked like having a go, they turned Brian O'Driscoll over, then they lost the ball. They scored their try from an Irish scrum where they put good pressure on them. So they need to play the game in the Ireland's half and mix that with keeping hold of possession. They've not gone through 2 or 3 phases at any stage in the game and made Ireland defend. You know, England will be sitting there thinking, we haven't played any rugby, Ireland haven't played that much, and yet we're points down. So they need to get the line-out sorted out, get hold of the ball, and just give themselves a chance. You know, Jason Robinson had half a chance against a bit of a mismatch against a prop forward, and he was through. I mean, Peter Stringer made a great tackle and the ball was turned over, but they just need to get hold of the ball, play in Ireland's half, and make Ireland defend, and then the penalties will come to England, they'll have a chance to score tries.
Keith, are you starting to get that 1994 feeling?
There's a bit of a warm glow, but with 40 minutes to go, I don't think Ireland are playing as well as they can play. So it doesn't make it as simple as if England start playing better now that England will actually win. Ireland can play more accurately and more aggressively.
Jonathan, have you seen England play quite that badly as we saw in the first half?
I think they've stuttered in previous matches. The fluency that we've seen them play, in the World Cup and before that. So, but it's because Ireland haven't allowed them to play. They've stolen their lineouts. They've played in the right areas of the field. Brian O'Driscoll has made one mistake. He got caught, turned over, and of course, when England scored the try, it was from a poor Irish scrum. So I agree with both the boys. They both can improve, but this is a try, and it's a poor scrum. Lawrence gets the stringer. And of course, Mr. Hill is always there with his foot. Grayson picks it up. It's a great angle by Dawson. There he is. He's just going to hit an angle away from Howe. But if once Howe spots Dawson there, he's got to come in and flatten him. There's no one else to tackle. He's got to come in. Once Dawson sees he stands off him, changes the angle, and he scores a try.
If you're wondering where the angle came from, that was our wonderful new camera on the post here at Twickenham. But in a way, this try flattered England, didn't it?
Yeah, it's the first time they were in the 22, apart from the O'Driscoll turnover. But as Jerry said, they disrupted the scrum and they made the most of it, and it was a good try by Dawson.
I don't think Ireland have actually tried a huge amount. They've kicked in the corners, they've played, they've done very, very well. If England keep playing the way they're going, that'll actually be enough to win. Only if they defend properly and try not to make those little mistakes, and that was a lack of concentration for 10 seconds.
And there's certainly been very little to excite this Twickenham crowd so far. But just ahead of that Matt Dawson try, there was this break from Jason Robinson and a hint of what he might be able to achieve.
As Martin said, he spots up, it's a mismatch. Reggie's thinking, oh no. And all of a sudden, there's nothing there. There's the gap, but it takes someone like this guy to do it. Nobody else in World Rugby could have done it. Yeah. But that's what England have got to try and do, and it's a great tackle by Stringer. Otherwise, it's try time.
That's reminiscent of the Ireland win in 2001 when Stringer did that tap tackle on Luger when he was through, which was the changing of that game.
Yeah. Well, those are the England highlights, and they didn't take long. What has been going wrong with the England lineup?
I think it's a little bit of everything. Steve's been penalised twice for 2 not straight, but Ireland have made some great plays. I mean, you look at this one here. That's just a fantastic play. I mean, he's got one hand up to it, but the ball's, maybe you could say, 6 inches higher, Benny would have won it. But you've got to give credit to Ireland. They've played the game they want to play. They've struggled a little bit with the ball themselves, and rightly so. I thought, right, we'll play the kicking game. We'll kick the ball into the corners. England are struggling with their line out, and they'll take what they can get there and create penalties. And they've gone ahead. They're ahead 12-10. They've conceded a try, and they'll be disappointed about that. Their scrum, England got it under pressure and took it well, but really they've created nothing themselves in terms of the attacking game. Ireland's defence has been on top. The break from Jason has been the only thing so far, and England just need to go through the phases. They need to run a little bit more aggressively, get the clear out because they've been turned over a few times, and just give those guys like Jason, Will Greenwood, Ben Cohen's hardly been in the game, he's hardly had a ball. Give them the opportunity to find a mismatch, make a break, and then they can play.
I think they look a little bit shy on leadership out there. Nobody's actually taking. I'm not pandering to you at all, John, but no, I don't think anybody's taken it by the scruff of the neck for either side. I think O'Gara has probably had the biggest influence on the game by finding the corners of the pitch time after time.
We'll get more from you on those line-out problems in just a moment. I know that Austin Healy is up there rather impatient to give us a few thoughts on Matt Dawson in particular. Austin.
Yeah, Dawson's been conducting affairs for England in the first half, and we've got some examples of that here. if you look at Dawes, he's been put under a lot of pressure, held down, but he's still pointing directions. People line in front of him for his pass. Again, someone lying on the wrong side of the ruck. Hard for Dawes to get the ball away, but he makes up for all of it with a great line, as you've already said, for a marvellous try, and I'm sure he'll be phoning me tonight and talking about it. The try from the halfway line. Good dive as well.
Yeah, it's great to have Matt Dawson's experience back in the England lineup, especially in a situation that such as the one that England find them in now. What about, coming back to line-out thoughts, the hooker's point of view, do you think that Ireland have got Steve Thompson a wee bit rattled?
I suppose I'm ideally placed, having had some unbelievable shockers in my career. It gets into your mind. You've got two big line-out forwards who are reading, who've analysed time after time after time, and they're in the positions already in the air as the ball is leaving Thompson's hands. He's wondering, is it to go further, is it to go shorter? And there's a level of panic. That's where the crooked throws have come into. I mean, because he's not a bad thrower, he's a good thrower, but he's been put under extraordinary pressure.
Ireland ahead. A shock is possible here. We've already had a shock this afternoon earlier on in the Six Nations Championship. Well, a sort of a shock with Scotland suffering their second Six Nations defeat against Italy in Rome. A somewhat debatable Ongaro try just after half-time is what swung the match the Italian way. Italy winning by 20 points to 14. There's the try. And here's the reaction from both camps.
What does this mean to you? It's a big smile I can see.
Yeah, no, it's a great feeling in the change room. It's very happy for a team rugby. I thought we deserved the win. They gave it everything. They've been training hard, so it gets the monkey off our back, and we can go out and have a party tonight, and then back to work tomorrow.
We defended very well, but our go forward and our mistake rate was just not acceptable at international level, and that's what you get when you do that.
What went wrong on the pitch, do you think?
Certainly our breakdown, one's very reluctant to criticise the referees, but we've had such inconsistency at the breakdown in the three matches. We just couldn't get any fast ball at the ruck. Their defence was solid and we turned it over. Our kicking game in the first half, I think, was particularly poor also, and put ourselves under a lot of pressure. And they just grafted out some points, a bit of a lucky try. But that's what happens in international rugby. If you work hard and you graft, you tend to get those.
It's difficult to find words really at the moment. And I'm just an example of everyone else in the changing room at the moment. Players, staff, coaches, everybody. We know we've let ourselves and are currently down. We came here with high hopes after an improved performance against England and failed to deliver. It's as simple as that. We knew it was going to be hard, undoubtedly, but maybe we didn't perform well. We certainly didn't perform like we should have, and maybe we underestimated Italy.
Scotland are frustrated, England are anxious. Ireland lead England by 12 points to 10 coming into the second half here at Twickenham. We'll be right back with live coverage, but Ray Stubbs has got all the latest football. Ireland ahead at Twickenham for Lawrence Dallaglio and the England team, a huge test of their World Championship pedigree. Now this is, well, a match that, in a way, the RBS Six Nations Championship wanted. The close contest, you can follow it all with our interactive service, which is up and running for digital viewers. Man of the match vote also for that telephone vote, and Carol White was the caller who matched the choice of Brian Moore 2 weeks ago. She wins tickets for next year's Calcutta Cup match. But here at Twickenham, well, what a second half is in prospect. As Ireland lead by 12 points to 10, and we get straight back to Brian Moore and Eddie Butler.
England have been down before at half-time. In the World Cup quarter-final against Wales, they trailed. They hit back immediately in the second half. They need to be restabilised quickly. Well, first things first, they've won the ball from the restart. Matt Dawson has to wait. Now here comes Grayson. That little dink through, the change of tactic works well. Paul Grayson. Will Greenwood throws the dummy. Shane Horgan makes the tackle. Still on for England. Ben Cohen for the line. Cohen scores. Timeout. Wasn't held. Try.
Well, if he wasn't held, he's okay. But if he was a double movement. Happened so quickly. I'm not surprised Paul Horace has called for the fourth official. I couldn't see from here. Happened too quickly. It's too far away. Even Horace couldn't see it that close. Superb break here. Look at that, a little bit of luck, but watch what Will Greenwood does here. in the tackle. That's a superb one-handed. I thought Bolshaw released that too early, to be honest. Is he tackled? Yes, he is. That's a double movement, and that shouldn't be allowed. Although he's only got a hold of his ankle, he's still tackled there. He's still got a hold of him. Watch here. He's brought down by Darcy. He still has hold of his ankle there. That still counts as a tackle, and he cannot do that.
Unless they decide that it's an immediate movement for the try line. It's all about the time between the tackle and the movement.
You're right, he's allowed to place the ball in any direction he wants, but he's not allowed to move to do it. It's an arm movement and not a body movement, so watch here. Oh, I wouldn't give that.
Television match official Hugh Watkin will be feeding his information to Paul Honnes.
Yes, Hugh. Okay, all right. 2. Yes, I've heard that. Time on.
Double movement. No try.
England will be very unhappy about that. I think it's the right decision, but importantly for England, it came from their kick-off where they've gathered the ball. Good break by Brayson with a little chip. Superb work by Greenwood, so that will have given them heart, and also it's at least given them territory here. Now, can they start? And it's crucial for them that they start well in this line-out.
Sir Clive. Shane Byrne, defensive line-out. England with a sudden change of tactic. It worked so nearly. Ireland go long. The catch by Simon Easterby.
Last feet. Go on.
O'Gara. Good clearance by O'Gara. Ronan O'Gara gets Ireland back up to halfway. Near halfway. Steve Thompson, though, with this throw.
Green, listen to your play at the front, move across.
England with a greater urgency. It's apparent already in the second half. They trail by 2 points. They've lost another line out, though.
Knock on by White, in 15, scrum green.
Yeah, and England knocked it on. Problems remain at the line out for England.
Thanks, Nige. Crash and hold. Engage. Stay on, flank it. Stood up at scrum time, guys. Hey, stay down.
Front row's popped.
Here's our mark.
As a result, that was good scrummaging by Trevor Woodman there.
Engage.
Trevor Woodman on this near side with his arm on the floor, hand on the floor. That's a better Irish scrum. Stringer switches hands. O'Gara will kick.
Yep. Holding green forward.
And that's what they want. That's another drilling kick by Ronan O'Gara.
Well, it's a very simple game plan. Get the ball in England territory, get into the line-outs, and let's see what comes. And thus far, England have not been able to do anything about it.
Steve Thompson quickly takes it. Ben Kay with the catch for England.
Up we come, going forward. No. More scrum, straight to ground.
It's a feature of Paul Honnes's refereeing. He doesn't like the ball to be delayed long on the floor, does he?
No, that's true. The difficulties of players with the common rules are now. Well, the scrums in contrast to the line-outs are fine for England.
Good pick up by Lawrence Delalio. That's worked well. Ireland slow up the release.
Gone.
Matt Dawson delayed, put it on Paul Grayson's left boot. Shane Horgan looks in field, decides to go on his own.
Come out!
Those forwards have to get back for Ireland. Matt Dawson is there. Now then, Ian Balshaw had precious little ball in the first half. Ben Cohen, the near try scorer.
Last feet, one, back it up. Through the middle, he's fine.
Shane Horgan is still in there.
Hands off now, Green.
Grappling for the ball, delaying this release for England. Ian Balshaw is there, very close to it. Ben Kay at scrum half. Joe Worsley. Richard Hill makes Paul Grayson reach. Gervin Dempsey has a look. Jason Robertson holds him. Offloads to Tyrone Howe. Stringer. O'Gara. Ireland have width. Simon Easterby straightens and goes. Gets the pass out of the tackle to Ronan O'Gara. Out of the tackle by Lawrence Dallaglio. Stringer. Big Paul O'Connell. Connell breaks the tackle of Steve Thompson. Anthony Foley. Gordon Darcy. 6 metres to go. Ireland. Referee checks England's offside. O'Gara long. O'Driscoll long. Tyrone Howe was up against the prop, fancied it. Richard Hill is there. Ireland have the put-in. Came off the foot, no knock on.
And they stretched England right to very breaking point there. Missed tackle by Thompson. And some desperate last defence there by Joe Worsley. Well done, good tackle there. But swinging the ball back left, Ireland actually had a man over. They didn't use him. But they're in a driving seat at the moment.
Good Irish scrimmage. Peter Stringer. O'Gara. O'Driscoll. Well, we saw some rash passes in the first half. That might take the biscuit at the start of the second.
Well, that's an adventurous pass at the best of times, but in these conditions where the ball is slippery, I'd venture to suggest it's almost impossible. And not only did it miss him, but it went forward as well. I mean, look, he's trying to throw a 30-yard pass there.
30 yards forward.
Off his left hand as well, very difficult. And that should relieve England pressure with a decent scrummage here, and Ireland didn't need that because they got ahead of steam up. They wanted to just keep it. Been better if it had just gone out for them.
Well, Lawrence Dallaglio picked up a scrummage that was in retreat. Matt Dawson ever alert around those fringes.
Hands out, Seven!
Keith Gleeson had his hands in there. Whistle's gone.
Number 8, back off. Break up, number 8 Green.
Anthony Foley is going to be spoken to. A tangle
come
of
in
limbs.
From the side, 7 Green. No, you've got to come from the back.
Keith Gleeson, raised in Australia.
No, they're not, mate. No, they're not.
Relief for England. Paul Grayson will clear.
Numbers there, Lawrence. They're able to contest. Okay. Right. Yeah, when you're ready.
England back in the Irish half.
Here we see the, try or no try. It's tackled by Darcy there, he's still got his hand. Now what he's allowed to do, he's allowed to place the ball immediately in whatever direction he wants. So if he just reaches his arm out, then he's fine. But what he didn't do was, he actually moved his body as well.
England lose, another line out. Stringer, there is space behind there. There's nobody really chasing it because Shane Horgan was in field. Ben Cohen can get back. Brushes Peter Stringer aside.
Come out, tackler.
And Stringer was very important in stopping Ben Cohen from scoring as well there.
Holding wide
Paul
forward.
Grayson.
Holding.
Ronan O'Gara is back there. Takes it to himself. Referee's blown.
Sorry. My mistake.
It's a wonderful sound, and you don't often hear it. A referee apologising. My mistake. Sorry, refs. But
Clive Woodward there, he's come down off his seat now. He doesn't usually, he's not very happy.
No.
Nor should he be.
I'd blow my whistle.
Well done to Paul Hornis there. Very few referees say that. I like that.
It'll still be an Irish throw. There's Paul Hornis.
No. Hold.
Malcolm O'Kelly.
Thank you. Wait.
Good defensive work by England. O'Kelly manages to slip
fine.
it
He took it off him.
to the close forwards.
Got to go forwards.
Paul O'Connell has the ball there.
There's still a maul. It's stationary now. 5 seconds.
Ireland slip it out. O'Driscoll is missed. Gordon Darcy. Those quick dancing feet of Darcy. He's through. The pace of the winger turned centre. Still in possession. Stringer in support. Tyrone Howe. Real danger for England as Ireland have width out right. Keith Gleeson from the back row. Shane Horgan. Malcolm O'Kelly switched infield. The pass out of the tackle. Ireland that close. Anthony Foley. Stringer slips on arrival. Back on his feet now. Darcy. They go long to O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll's long pass this time does find Tyrone Howe. It's going to be the score. Gordon Dempsey for Ireland. Now then, are we going to have the shock of all times here at Twickenham?
Well, it's been very happy, aren't they? It's been coming. Finally, Ireland managed to put that away. Very similar to the last opportunity where they didn't manage to capitalise when they went left. This time, they used the extra man, and they deserve that. They've stretched England right and left. Off the feet of Darcy initially for that break. That's a good pass from O'Driscoll. And he's got a simple run in there.
From on high, they took it right to one touchline. One long pass. Two long passes. They're halfway across the field. The third long pass. And because they'd stretched their attackers all the way across, Gordon Dempsey is in the clear.
That all came, though, from what was a fantastic break by Gordon Darcy, dancing his way through the England midfield. That put them on the back foot, and then Ireland had the continuity, and the important thing, they had the patience. They didn't force the passes into unrealistic contact situations. They recycled the ball, and the backs made the most of it. Oh, yes.
Fantastic kick from the touchline by Ronan O'Gara. Ireland's tails are really up. Here's the little break by Gordon Darcy.
Fantastic feet, and watch here as well. It's a long cutout by O'Driscoll. Saw the man, saw he needed. It's a good finish.
And that conversion was all important because Ireland now have a 9-point lead. England have to score twice at least. Now then, England have replaced Joe Worsley with Chris Jones, and Ian Balshaw is also off the field. Ronan O'Gara off his left peg. Jones will be on specifically for his line-out work. What about behind the scrum?
Well, Eddie, it's not a question of personnel. I tell you what I think. Where is Martin? Well, I know where Martin Johnson is, obviously. I'm talking about figuratively. Someone has to get hold of this for England because they are disintegrating at the moment.
Chris Jones rather goes up, and it still doesn't work for England because Ireland pour through. Ronan O'Gara, after nobody could get a hand on that line out. Big Paul O'Connell. Josh Lucy stops him.
Play on!
O'Driscoll goes the long way round. Knows he can take Phil Vickery. Good work by Gordon Dempsey to make himself available as O'Driscoll went towards the touchline. Ireland in control of the football. Ben Kay went in with the boot. Shane Horgan runs into Steve Thompson and Lawrence Delalio and doesn't make any ground. Ireland will have the put in at the scrummage, though.
Just as important psychologically with England not really having getting the leadership out there.
And the referee just having a word with Ben Kay there. There's the crunch by Steve Thompson, but Ben Kay, well, he waved his foot at the ruck before this. This ruck led to a scrummage only. The referee indicating Ireland put in. Shane Horgan, he's a very sturdy customer himself. He's 6'4", well over 16 stone. Just the collisions out there. Now then, Ollie Barkley coming on. 21 for England. England ring the changes.
Well, they obviously decide they need bit more of an attacking focus, but it won't make any difference if they don't get the ball. And just as important, Ireland need now. They lost to Australia because they didn't believe, I don't think, in the World Cup. They've got to believe they can win now.
Another solid Irish scrimmage, and there Ronan O'Gara does what he's done all game, pushes England back.
And if he's got anything about him, that's all he'll do. He doesn't need to do. Alan don't need to do much more now. He just need to keep the ball down in the England half, keep the line out under pressure and see what comes, because England have to chase the game now.
Ben Kay wins for England.
Leave it now, 4 Green, leave it now. 5 seconds, White, 5 seconds.
England have 5 seconds. They didn't use half of them. Greenwood. Well, it's ground gained, but it was still a ponderous delivery.
And more importantly, it's probably possession given away, because Ireland's line out, by contrast to England's, has not really struggled at all.
Is that Mark? Come down off it.
You know what'll happen now.
Give us a good get, White.
Shane Byrne.
Hold the get, White.
Paul O'Connell with the head guard at towards the front.
Hold the get. Cheers.
Such an important throw. The simple option. He went for O'Connell, and O'Connell delivered.
White.
Inches. Stringer took his time about the pass. O'Driscoll. Well, Brian O'Driscoll has yet to make an impact on this game, apart from delivering the pass for the try, that is.
Yes, but by his own standards, maybe he hasn't clicked. But then again, he's had O'Gara inside him, who's played very intelligently and has executed what must have been the Irish game plan prior to taking the field with decided aplomb.
Ireland steal another England line out. It's such a regular occurrence that it's no longer a surprise. The ball goes dead. Now then, Austin has found something interesting.
Yeah, we've seen in the lead up to the try, England were trying everything, trying to stop the Irish getting over the line. Joe Wares, he sticks his foot out there, stops Stringer getting to the ball.
Well done, Austin, well spotted.
The tactic didn't really work. They didn't stop him. Look at that, look. 45%. Oh, another one.
O'Gara to O'Driscoll. The cutout pass finds Tyrone Howe. From an England line out, Ireland are on the attack. Stringer to O'Gara. Big Simon Easterby. Sorry, it's Paul O'Connell. Switch of play. Darcy. Lawrence Delally who makes the tackle. Shane Byrne in support for Ireland.
Hands off, White.
They've packed that left side as well as the right. O'Gara to big Shane Horgan. This is Brian O'Driscoll. Ball's out. Ireland throw. The pressure is still on England.
And Ireland are playing all the rugby because they're getting all the ball. Because England can't get even their own first phase ball at the moment. And the Irish tackled here. Has he got enough room? He's not back. That's why it's an Irish throw. Another perfect platform. I would expect the Irish just to catch and drive here.
England are going to make a change. Steve Thompson down to Jerry.
It's rising in Ireland, and at this ground level you can actually sense that confidence rising, and what they're doing is incredible. If I was Ireland, I'd get the ball to Darcy. He's the main man, and England have still not resolved their line-out problems, even with bringing Chris Jones on.
Malcolm O'Kelly wins ball for Ireland. Ben Kay ordered out of the line-out. On comes the drive. England can't take it to ground. O'Gara to Darcy. This time it doesn't work. England have turned it over. Barkley sends Shane Horgan way back. He can't kick directly for touch because he carried it into his 22. But the bounce will work. Now then, Jason Robinson. It took 3 to Corin.
Wait.
Mark Regan, the replacement hooker, drives into midfield. Greenwood kicks head. Ireland have to scurry back quickly through Tyrone. How? I think he had more time than he thought.
This is an absolutely crucial line out for England. If it goes wrong here, then it will stop them dead in the tracks. They need good ball and they need to score and get some form of score reasonably quickly with 9 points to make up.
Now James Simpson-Daniel is on for England, 22. This is another replacement for England, Mark Regan. They've sent on fresh legs. They trail by 9 points at home to Ireland. Well, we thought the Six Nations hadn't come to life. Italy have beaten Scotland, but Ireland are threatening to beat England, the world champions, at home at Twickenham. We move into the last quarter of the game. We have a pause because Gervin Dempsey is injured.
A worried looking Sir Clive Woodward there. Very unusual for Oka to get replaced in the circumstances, but Steve Thompson was having problems, and for Ireland, Gervin Dempsey is going off.
Kevin Maggs. Kevin Maggs comes on. Kevin Maggs can play centre wing. He goes up into the centre. England win the line out. Lawrence Delalio. Wow, the reach for the line by Mark Regan.
No, I don't think he got it down.
It's another timeout. Hugh Watkin, the television match official, will have to view this one. Mark Regan, well, it was a good reaction. He thinks he got it.
Okay, we obviously want to check the grounding of the ball and whether the player was in touch.
That was a move which is not usually seen these days. A front peel, man coming round, drawing the hooker. Lawrence Delalio is stringer this time. Now Regan in touch there. Does he touch the... No, he's still okay. No, he's out. No?
He's in touch.
He's in touch.
He's in touch.
He did ground the ball, but he's in touch. Very close.
Paul Honus will wait again. For the second time, England wait to see if they've scored. They were denied the first one. It looks as if they'll be denied the second. Foot in touch.
Line out, green ball.
No try.
Line out, green ball. White, right off the mark.
Now then, Shane Byrne has a difficult throw.
Yeah, time's on. Hey, just relax, he's getting the ball in.
Malcolm O'Kelly takes his time, takes his position in the acting scrum half position. Must be O'Connell. It is.
Inside the 5, line out's over.
Peter Stringer goes into scrum half in the orthodox fashion, and O'Gara clears. England take it quickly. James Simpson-Daniel, Josh Lucy, Ben Cohen with a bit of space. Gordon Darcy is across there. Shane Horgan ushers him towards the touchline. Ben Cohen did well to stay away from the touchline then. Richard Hill feeds Matt Dawson. Knock on in midfield. It simply isn't happening.
And the roars from the Irish contingent of this crowd, which seemed to have swelled in the last 15 minutes, are palpable. Oh, it went backwards, but it doesn't really matter. Ireland are scrapping their way to this, well, to this lead and potential victory.
62 minutes played.
And England may well point to the fact that they've had two very close occasions for tries, but they've been isolated things, have not been as a result of a lot of build-up or work.
No binding.
Anthony Foley takes the free kick quickly. Tackled by his opposite number, Lawrence Delalio, who is then thrown aside. O'Gara, O'Driscoll, Darcy, so elusive, Gordon Darcy. The find of the Six Nations. Little Gordon Darcy in the Irish centre. Paul O'Connell takes some pulling down. He's a great find for Irish rugby as well. Kevin Maggs. So I was going to say what a great pass out of the tackle, but it wasn't because it went straight into touch.
Well, just for a second there, when Ireland went back on the blind side, they had a 4-2. Unfortunately for them, the four weren't right properly aligned, but could have been very different if they'd have executed that properly. But Gordon Darcy here, second big break, look.
What number was he?
And his feet, I mean, nimble is an understatement, isn't it?
And Josh Lucy doesn't miss many tackles, does he?
No, and England have been made to look very ordinary at the moment by an Ireland team who are playing with confidence.
Now then, Ollie Barkley has gone off. Paul Grayson is back on, so it was a blood bin. Eddie O'Sullivan.
Come off it, please. Give me a good get.
Not giving much away, but ooh. Ireland lead England by 9 points. It's normally in this closing quarter that England take hold of a game. They are so proud of their fitness levels. Well, they're going to have to dig deep today. It's a horrible line out again for England, but at least they've won it. Lawrence Dallaglio goes to ground. Grayson, Ben Cohen.
Come off, tackler.
Phil Vickery.
Okay. Play on.
Off Dawson's foot, no knock on. Simpson Daniel. Here is Lucy against Shane Horgan. He's still up in the air. Brian O'Driscoll is in there. Did well to present it for Dawson. Ben Cohen on the crunch. Shane Byrne made the tackle. The switch by Will Greenwood. That's a tackle by Malcolm O'Kelly, the second row. Simpson Daniel. Josh Lucy wing to wing, and the largest wing of them all, Shane Horgan, does the smother. Jason Robinson, Reggie Corrigan made the tackle on Robinson. Switch by Matt Dawson, it's Robinson again, Simpson Daniel, Lucy, they're trying to get the danger runners involved, but Ireland could have turned that over. Oh, knock on there. England do well to regather that. Lawrence Dallaglio's knocked it on, but England will have the slight luck because the referee spotted the knock on by Ireland. England scrummage. Relief for the England captain.
Well, I was going to say 5 minutes ago, have England got the balls to come back now, but they're throwing things forward, but imprecise executions like that are not going to give them a chance. You also have to say as well, Eddie, the Irish defence has swarmed about, hasn't it? They haven't looked stretched.
When you suddenly think you've got Jason Robinson, James Simpson Daniel, Ben Cohen and Josh Lucy coming at you, Ireland have been very composed in defence.
Well, here we are, it's very close, isn't it? Mark Regan, he's not in touch there, but he is there, look, just there, and he hits the corner flag as well before he goes over.
I think it was Malcolm Kelly who made the tackle.
Fantastic effort.
A great effort by the second row. First things first, solid scrum for England. Not that solid, it just went down in the front row. A word for Reggie Corrigan. Straight to the three quarters this time. Greenwood. Ben Cohen off his wing, so powerful. Ireland are offside. Grayson drops the ball, but England will have the penalty.
Take the points. Got to take the points. There's still just well over 15 minutes, if not more, available. Take the points.
Points in the final quarter for England. Not the usual points. The points that give them runaway victories. These are points to claw their way back into the game. Paul Grayson for 3 points. No problem for England's outside half. Ireland's lead trimmed to 6. A word from Keith Wood.
The key at the moment for Ireland is to keep their discipline, keep their composure, and make certain that they play the game like they have for the first 65 minutes down in the England 22. England have just had a period of time there and they've got to score, keep it down the far side. I still can see a green victory, but it's looking very, very tight.
It is tight. I also suggested pretty exciting as well. The Six Nations has come to life here. Matt Dawson dropped the ball backwards, says the referee. Jason Robertson reaches for it, left foot slices it. England got themselves back into the game and then instantly looked ragged again.
Panic 1, panic 2, slice there, but quite easily have gone one further to Josh Lucy. Had enough time, and that gives Ireland what they want. Territorial advantage and the throw, which hitherto has translated itself pretty seamlessly into possession.
Who's your halfback, White? Who's your halfback?
England need to put somebody in the scrum half position. It's Richard Hill who goes there. Stays right at the tail.
He's fine. Keep quiet. Get on with it.
Paul O'Connell with his hands up, with the gloves on. They go deeper than that.
15, yep.
Simon Easterby.
Hold it up, White. Way you go, 5. Way you go now. That's okay.
Ireland make inches. Stringer. O'Gara. Kevin Maggs. That's the line Maggs likes. They still keep going left. O'Driscoll with the drop goal. No chance. Nearly hit the post though, or might have just scraped the post below the bar. That might have been interesting.
Yes, it might be a horrible scuff, wasn't it? Never even looked like going over, but England is still under pressure and Ireland has still got territorial advantage.
The long kick downfield. Gordon Darcy. Gordon Darcy goes outside Will Greenwood. Keith Gleeson. Gleeson tackled by Will Greenwood.
Hands off, White!
Kevin Maggs at outside half. Malcolm O'Kelly had a good game. Malcolm O'Kelly presents it well for Stringer. That's out. Now, O'Driscoll. Well, it's going to work for him. It's what a strange game Brian O'Driscoll's having.
Well, he wasn't meant to go there, but in the end it doesn't matter because it's bounced in touch. And the most important thing is kept England pinned firmly towards their own goal line, from where they have to make a lot of ground even to get in kicking range.
Gordon Darcy is having attention, and they'll stop for this because he's within the 10-metre mark of the line-out. Now then, they won't want Gordon Darcy to go off, because if any player has threatened any defence in the Six Nations, it's Gordon Darcy, and he's hit just after he releases the tackle. And when Josh Lucy hits you, you stay hit.
Yeah, very powerful, despite a relative lack of size, Lucy. Very powerful tackler. There's nothing wrong with that.
4, move away.
Mark Regan. Just worked for England, because Regan's done well to recoup that.
Ball's out, the ball's out.
Ball's out. Ireland swarm again all over England, so it's turnover ball.
Use your feet, Green. Last feet here, 5.
Shane Horgan races up to play scrum half. Ireland have turned it over again. O'Gara. Anthony Foley didn't want that. Richard Hill did well. What a wonderful pass out of the tackle. Tyrone Howe will have to scamper back. Big pressure coming on the Ulsterman. Howe is down and turned.
And turned over.
Dawson hits the blind side. Knock on by Trevor Woodman. Relief for Ireland. But it all came from the pass fired at Anthony Foley when he didn't want it, wasn't expecting it.
I don't think it was meant for him either. Well, Woodman making the decision to come inside because Dawson was covering across, and well, look at that, 21 errors, and quite a lot of those unenforced.
Guys.
9 minutes to go. When the clock hits 80,
Keep it
At
up.
the next
Crouch and
breakdown,
hold.
it's all over.
Break up. Both sets break up and come back over the mark. Here it is. Here it is. Crouch and hold. Engage.
We've gone down in the front row.
Up we come, fellas, down here. Get our binding rights. Get our binding rights.
And that's a tight head, John Hayes, yeah. He's got to be careful here. Binding on the arm, shoving it in.
Stay on here, fellas, stay on. Thank you.
That's good work by Peter Stringer under pressure.
He's on.
A chance for Simpson Daniel or Jason Robinson. Keith Gleeson made a very important tackle then on Jason Robinson. Dawson. Josh Lucy. Well, it's sensible enough because England have to play down there. I don't think they're going to score from 70 metres out.
Well, the problem is though, Eddie, did not look like pinching much of Ireland's line-out ball either, so... The level of the crowds cranked up, trying to will England forward, but it's not a question of will, really, it's a question of execution more than anything else today.
Because of the rising level of sound, Ireland checked their line-out call very carefully. Shane Byrne, there's Malcolm Kelly repeating it again, they have to get it in quickly. Stolen by England, Richard Hill. Paul Grayson knocks it on.
Well, that's what happens when you don't have the right delivery. First time, everyone's panicking here.
That was great panic all round, wasn't it? Ireland couldn't get the throw in, England couldn't get the pass out. Very, very tense. That's calm enough at the scrum. O'Gara just under real pressure from Will Greenwood. Jason Robinson playing at fullback. Skips inside Malcolm O'Kelly. Grayson. Simpson Daniel. Big Phil Vickery. Yes.
Get out, tackler!
He was only ever going to do one thing. Simpson Daniel again. Jason Robinson. Anthony Foley makes an important tackle. Will Greenwood dances past Ronan O'Gara. Big Paul O'Connell. England still in possession though. At least they're going through the phases.
He's okay, he's okay. It's now a ball.
Ball has been delayed, although Matt Dawson has it. Jason Robinson, much more involved now, wrapped up again by Anthony Foley. Paul Grayson above his head again, inside to Mark Regan.
Hands off two.
Phases for England. Still, patient build-up.
Well off 22.
Penalty to England. Kevin Maggs penalised. Dawson takes it quickly. Matt Dawson, they have men outside. Ben Cohen. Delalio. Simpson Daniel. Greenwood, good pass. Richard Hill takes it well. Slightly on his own. Ireland have to release that. Shane Horgan had his hands on it. Lucy. Vickery in midfield. John Hayes just gets him down. England could have numbers now. They switch instead. Grayson off his toes. Simpson Daniel. Well tackled by Keith Gleeson. The open side flanker has put in a huge number of tackles today. Lucy. Knock on. Will Greenwood. Chance for Ireland to break out. Well, England went through all the phases then. You normally expect them to do something after that many phases, but it's not happening.
You're right, but there are two reasons for this. First of all, the Irish are not being drawn into the close battle. Well, that dips against Greenwood. That's a difficult ball to take. It's not a good pass, but Ireland are counting well. They're not being drawn in. There's the reaction, same as everybody. But also, England, when they're regrouping after the ball is coming back, are so, well, higgledy-piggledy all over the place. You know, people stay in the wrong positions.
England, sorry, Brian. Free kick. Anthony Foley takes it quickly.
Scrum time, Green. Couldn't roll clear. Trapped in there.
As we prepare for the scrum, Jerry on the touchline.
Yeah, Eddie, I think Ireland have really got to take a leaf out of England during the World Cup. All they need to do is get in the England half and they can close out this game with a drop goal.
England scramble the ball against the head. Penalty to England. Scrappy Irish scrum. Matt Dawson wants to take it quickly. What do they do, Brian?
Oh, thanks. Well, bearing in mind it is going to go on 40 now, and we're not going to have 10 minutes of injury time, I would shove this in the corner. I'd still trust to shove it in the corner. We needed 7 points. I'd catch and drive.
That's a horrible decision for Lawrence Delalio to have to make. 3.5 minutes left.
Hey, welcome to being a captain.
Yeah. I just remembered Wembley, 99. Still, England have this line out. 7 metres out from the Irish line. It's an act of faith in an English line out which hasn't worked all afternoon. Mark Regan, though, is the new thrower. He's nearly scored from a line out. Steve Borthwick wins it. Ben Kay is the switch of focus.
Oh, and the lifting again in the back. Why referees don't pick this up, I've no idea.
They'll turn it infield now. England. But England have got only 5 seconds to play it. But on comes the surge. Down goes the maul. And here comes the English attack. It's going to be a try for Josh Lucy, or will Shane Horgan get there? Or the dead ball line beats them all.
Well,
oh, high drama. They all disappear off the theatre. They fall off the stage. It's a 22-metre dropout.
I thought he'd given a penalty there to England actually to start with, and he may have said advantage over, but Chip, does it stay loose? He's going to be first there, look. Greenwood,
great action shot, brilliant stuff.
Here we go, look at this, sliding.
The clock is stopped. Brian, quickly, who's man of the match?
RBS Six Nations man of the match for me, Gordon Darcy. Fantastic feat, mercurial feat. He's been the one person who showed today.
Ireland, less than 2 minutes to survive. The catch by the England second rows. Matt Dawson breaks through. Paul O'Connell, the second row, with a tackle. It's all England in possession now. Paul Grayson, Jason Robinson, Lawrence Delalio outside him. Here is Delalio. Takes on Brian O'Driscoll. Shane Horgan comes in. The ball's out. Simon Easterby dives through. The Llanelli player in the middle of all these Irishmen. The ball is back in the England half. Straight out. We're back in the Irish half.
Oh! How long is that? Minute left?
1 minute. There's Gordon Darcy, RBS man of the match. What a game for the Irish centre. Mark Regan will have this throw, and England will have one last chance to take this game. Malcolm O'Kelly steals the line out, or did he? England have got it back. Dawson to Grayson. Will Greenwood on his 50th appearance for England makes ground. Dawson waits. Big Chris Jones, the replacement. Paul Grayson, the switch in field to Lawrence Delalio. Greenwood again. Ben Kay offers himself. Is swamped by green shirts. That's out. It's another turnover for Ireland. 6 seconds, and then if we have a stoppage, it's all over, and England will have lost in the Six Nations for the first time under Clive Woodward.
That's it.
The ball is out. Time is up. It's all over. The world champions have been beaten at home in the Six Nations. There will be no back-to-back Grand Slam for England. Eddie O'Sullivan's Ireland have beaten Clive Woodward's England. What a game. How the Six Nations came alive here at Twickenham. England were not at their best, but Ireland were in control of this game. They ruled the line out. Lawrence Delalio's team have been beaten.
Well, who says the Six Nations is a predictable competition? Anyone who does it a fool, frankly, because 2 shocks today. But I have to say that Ireland started with a game plan which they executed perfectly, and they deserved that victory very thoroughly. England out of sorts, but principally because they couldn't escape an Irish stranglehold on territory and in the end possession. And Gordon Darcy showing the very few glimpses of brilliance today. His feet, fantastic.
The final score here at Twickenham. The great surprise of the Six Nations. It's England 13, Ireland 19.
Well, it's the thriller that the RBS Six Nations has been threatening to produce, but certainly not the storyline that Jason Robinson and England were looking for. What a day for Ireland. And as they get a standing ovation here at Twickenham, Keith Wood, what's your feelings?
I think they played a very simplistic game plan. They highlighted 3 or 4 areas that they wanted to work on to expose England's weakness, and they got it time after time, and they got their just desserts. It's ridiculous. I'm absolutely delighted.
I know that 10 years ago you sat on the bench here and watched England record their last victory, watched Ireland record their last victory here at Twickenham, and the emotions you must have felt in the last 20 minutes must have been very similar.
I mean, it is. I mean, obviously I wanted to be out there to win in the past, but I'm just as happy now to sit up here.
Okay, let's hear from one of your heroes. Brian O'Driscoll is with Craig Doyle.
Brian, you've just captained your country to victory over the world champions. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. We were saying all week, they've got an outstanding record here. We felt that, it had to go at some stage. I said, why not let it be ourselves? And I think the belief was the big thing this week.
And in such style as well.
Yeah, the second half there were a few hairy, scary moments, but we managed to pull through. We tried to kick and play a lot of territory, but so delighted to come through from that. It really is a huge performance for us.
Some celebrations, off you go. Well done.
Cheers.
And of course we've also got England's World Cup winning captain Martin Johnson up here in the studio with us. Your feelings, Martin, has it got the kind of feel of an end of an era?
No, I don't think so. You play the game, you'll win or lose, and England, they'll be honest, they didn't deserve to win today. You can't lose that many line-out balls and win a test match. As Keith said, Ireland, they had a very simple game plan, but it's a simple game, and England made too many mistakes. Ireland put them under pressure all over the field. They turned a lot of ball over, they tackled well. 2 try-saving tackles in the second half. But when Ireland played with the ball, they unloaded some passes, and they looked like scoring a second try, and the game would have been over there. So they played very well, and they took their chance when they had it. They went wide and got in the corner, and England made too many mistakes, and now hold their hand up and say, well played Ireland, they deserve to win.
Absolutely, and Jonathan Davis, an outstanding contest.
It's what Test rugby is about, isn't it? In most tests now the game is over with 10-15 minutes to go, and this was a real test, and I just felt that England haven't played well, to their potential, and it is difficult just to switch it, turn a switch on and raise your game. And Ireland came here tactically; they were superb, tackled everything, and they took their chances.
England so many problems during the course of the first half. They were behind at half time, but they started the second half in such a positive frame of mind. Have a close look at the disallowed Ben Cohen try for us.
Yeah, it just varies the tactics, Grayson, a little bit. They're up flat, just chips over, regathers it. It's a lovely pass to Greenwood. He does the right thing here. What happens is ball shows too deep. He should be, just on Will's shoulders for him to pass. This is where Worsley comes into it. He's just supporting as a back row forward. He's got to take the tackle now. There he is, takes it. Ball shows there. From there you think Ben Cohen would score. He's not playing with a lot of confidence. He hits the floor and it's a double movement. If he just would have placed it and not got up on one hand, the referee would have given him, because you couldn't place the ball when you tackled. But he did get up with his left hand, then placed it. It was a double movement, I felt.
How much of a double movement did you feel, Martin?
I think they're right. I think if he just reached in and scored, but it's very difficult instinctively. He's sort of bounced up to his knees and put the ball down, and it could have gone either way. I think we felt here that they'd disallow it, and it's a difficult one to take, but that was a key moment. I mean, if England had scored straight after half time, they'd have gone back into the lead. That was crucial. And Ireland, just everything, they tackled fantastically well. It was a great bit of defence when really England should have scored. They went down the other end and scored the try, and then again stopped England in the corner at the other side.
Yes, it knocked England sideways, the disallowed try, and Ireland took up the initiative from that point on, and they pulled the England defence this way and that before Gervin Dempsey's try.
Well, I think in an awful lot of cases they exposed maybe some of Clive Woodward's selections of picking Robinson with Greenwood in the centre. It didn't seem to have the straight line.
This is it, really. What they do, they drift out, and you can't drift in your own 22, I don't think. What they have to do, as the Wasps have been doing, is spotting and coming in. You had no option. Maybe they'd have got the pass away, but you weren't going to stop the try from there. They'd been pulled into the left-hand corner. They just had too many numbers, and it was a very, very good try, well worked. So.
Well, it went back, I think, to maybe the 3 or 4 definite things that Ireland wanted to do. They wanted to expose ball throw at full back, they wanted to expose the centre partnership, and they wanted to put pressure under Thompson in the line-out. And winning all the line-outs virtually in a game is fantastic.
But then the last 20 minutes was a different kind of examination for Ireland, and there was a hint of panic for a while, wasn't there?
There was a hint of panic, but it was they just need to continue kicking the ball down into the corner, which they did a couple of times. They made a few mistakes, but...
OK, let's have a quick word with Lawrence Delalio. He's with Craig.
Well, Lawrence, a very good Irish performance at the end of the day. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I don't think we can have any complaints. The best team won today. You know, if you don't win your set piece at this level, and we were very poor in the line out today, you don't stand any chance of getting any field position and putting the opposition under any sort of attack. And fair play to Ireland. They really disrupted our line out. They put the ball in behind us. They were happy to have another line out because they knew that they were going to disrupt it. And as I said, if you make as many errors as we did throughout the game, and on top of that you don't win your line out, you're going to make life very difficult. We crossed for a couple of tries, didn't manage to get the ball down, and you've got to take those chances when they're on offer.
You came out in the second half full of fire and fury, nearly scored a try. We thought it was a change then, really.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we had a very poor first half and only a marginally better second half, and they're not the sort of standards we expect from this England team, and we've got to go and we've got to take this defeat in the right way and make sure we come back a much stronger team. But credit to Ireland, mustn't take anything away from their performance. They came here with belief. They showed that belief from the start of the game, and they really got into us, and they thoroughly deserved their victory.
Hey, Lawrence, thanks for your time.
Giving your reaction after a defeat like that is the hard part of being England captain, but this is the table. England still on top despite that defeat, but it's only on points difference. England, France and Ireland together on 4 points, and of course France are at Cardiff tomorrow taking on Wales. Earlier today we had Scotland beaten by Italy in Rome. 3 o'clock kickoff in the Millennium Stadium tomorrow afternoon. What further shocks are in store in Cardiff tomorrow? Thanks very much for joining us. Jonathan Davis, Keith Wood, congratulations. Enjoy the party tonight. Martin Johnson, thank you for being with us as well. Twickenham and English Rugby, and Martin as well, has to come to terms with the fact that a long winning run here at headquarters has come to an end. The world champions have been beaten as well, but what a thriller we've had today.